You're listening to the Lost Geographer podcast, and this is episode 19 on Geography Now.
In our modern globalized society, understanding geography and culture is crucial if you want to succeed in life. Unfortunately, many people are still unaware of the world around them, which is fueled by media that are focused only on profits, clicks, and promoting agendas rather than providing accurate information. Here at the Lost Geographer, we aim to promote geographic and cultural literacy through education and travel by bypassing the media. We have guests who talk about their own countries from a native perspective, travellers telling their stories and lessons, and related topics that will aid you on your journey towards geographic and cultural literacy. Get the raw, candid truth about the world we live in and understand your place in it. Because at the end of the day, it's your world. Own it.
Hey everybody, so while this podcast and site do increase your geographic and cultural literacy, the best way to attain literacy is through travel. Now, I understand that many people think traveling is expensive and stressful, and understandably so. However, it doesn't have to be this way. Traveling can be cheap and relatively stress-free if you know the right places to look for flights and already have an understanding of common travel mistakes. If you want to learn how, check out The Ultimate Guide to Smart Budget Traveling. It's a video course that will teach you how to save hundreds on your next vacation and thousands throughout your life by showing you how to make different rewards programs work for you and introduce you to sites that have prices you could have only dreamed of. I will show you how I've done things such as book transatlantic and transcontinental flights in the US for less than $10, and how I don't pay ATM fees anywhere in the world and withdraw money according to the exact exchange rate and not get ripped off. Want to learn more? Check out literacy.thelostgeographer.net for more information. Consider it an investment to learn how to invest in experiences to become geographically and culturally literate. Again, you can find it at literacy.thelostgeographer.net. All right, everybody, welcome to the Lost Geographer podcast, where our goal is to promote geographic and cultural literacy. It's your world, own it. I'm your host, Rohit Amrithar, founder of The Lost Geographer. You can find us at www.thelostgeographer.net. And this episode, I'm super excited. I'm here with Paul Barbato, otherwise known as Barby, the host of Geography Now, an awesome YouTube series all about geography, all about different countries in the world. And if you haven't checked out this video series, I highly recommend you do so. He goes over pretty much every country in the world and talks about them in great detail. I personally love it. I'll definitely put a link to it on the show notes, which you can find on our website. But Paul, so happy to have you on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me over for this podcast. It's good stuff. So thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely. So why don't you go ahead and get us started and tell us a bit about yourself, I guess, what your experience is with traveling and living around the world, and what made you start Geography Now.
Yeah, well, first I just want to say thank you. I saw your website. It looks really cool. It's great. It's got good. You got a lot of good information yourself too. So I think you actually have a great source for information as well. So thank you. Just want to put that out there first.
Hey, no problem, man.
Yeah. All right. But also, so yeah, basically with Geography Now, it's kind of funny. The reason why I started the channel was because there was no channel like it on YouTube, and I was frustrated. Like, I wanted there to be a channel where I could just click on a video and it could be any country I wanted and learn about it, but nobody did it. So I guess out of my own frustration, I was like, fine, I'll do it. I'll be the first one. So as of right now, I believe Geography Now is the only channel on YouTube that actively does informational profiles on every country in the world, like on a consistent basis. And yeah, it's just been growing ever since then. Growing up, I was raised off of, Carmen Sandiego. I think the first CD I had was back in 1997 or something like that. It was, what was it called? Microsoft Encarta 97. If any of you guys remember the Encarta series, before Wikipedia was invented. And they actually had this interactive world cultures game thing, and I would play that, and I just loved it. And they even had a language comparison game as well. And it was amazing. So I think that's really what kind of sparked it. Also, my sister is a sociology degree major, so she would always come home talking about some obscure people group that I never heard of in some random area of the world. And yeah, I think I would also contribute a lot of my fascination with geography to my sister as well. So yeah, that's basically it.
Awesome. And so did you travel quite a bit? Is that kind of what got you to want to start this series?
Yeah, well, I mean, Yeah, I've been to about, what, 21, 22 countries so far. My first international traveling experience was when I was just turned 10 years old. I flew to Korea, South Korea. And along the way, I've just met people from all over the world. And I didn't really start doing a lot of international traveling by myself until I was about 20 years old. The very first place I traveled internationally by myself was Montreal, Canada. And then the next place was Tanzania in Kenya. And then I forgot, just after that, it was just like Europe. And then I went to, where else did I don't know, just all over. And then last year I went to the Middle East. I went to Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. So every year I try to go internationally at least once. So, and then this year, this November, I'm going to be going to Singapore and New Zealand. So, yay.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, let us know if you find any orcs in New Zealand.
Oh, I will. Will. That's definitely, or at least hobbits,
Yeah,
see their footprints. Yeah.
yeah, that's awesome though. So you were talking about how you just meet some cool people. Would you say that like meeting these people has really broadened your perspective and has just probably taught you so much?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, I met a lot of people both domestically here in the United States and abroad. I grew up in a very heavily Greek, Russian, and Assyrian neighborhood in Chicago. Assyrian people, not Syrian, Assyrian. A lot of people don't even know who or what those people are, but northern Iraq. Yeah, but basically, yeah, I was raised around a ton of people from so many different backgrounds. So I was already kind of exposed to this at a young age. And I would always go on these retreats, international youth retreats, where you would meet people from all over the world. It was a church thing. And just I met people from Russia, Myanmar, Tanzania, all that stuff. So yeah, I guess at a young age, I was exposed to a lot of different cultures, a lot of different people, a lot of different languages. And that's just kind of what molded me into the person that I am, kind of. So yeah.
Yeah, and so moving on a little bit to the whole geography aspect of it, do you feel that geography is underrated in
Oh yeah.
understanding it? Yeah. Yeah. What would you say
Yes.
are the biggest benefits in your viewpoints from emphasizing geography more in education throughout school and things in those kinds of areas?
Yeah, it's kind of sad because if you've seen those like Jimmy Kimmel specials, it's like they go to people on the streets and they're like, "Can you locate the U.S. on a map?" And like only like half of them get it, and they're like, "This is your home country, and you don't even know where it is on the map." Like that's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
Um, it really is, and I think that really says something about the educational structure and format that we have here in the United States and what we really value and what we really put our focus on in curriculum. And it's really sad that so many schools don't have a geography class, or if they do, it's very minimal and it's not very profound or in depth. It doesn't really, expound on the actual, demographical facets, the export factor, the physical geography, the everything. It doesn't really just gives you a quick little overview and then that's it. So I think it's really important to, and why is it important? I think it's important because this is your home, this planet, this earth, this is where you live. If you live in a place and you don't even, it's like if you live in a mansion and you've only been in one room the entire time you've lived there. That's kind of what it's like when you don't know geography.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah, it's like living in a mansion and you've only stayed in one room the entire time you've lived there. There's so many places you can check out and learn about and people to meet and people to know about and customs and rituals and traditions and landscapes. Just so much out there and there's so much you can do with it. There's so much you can do with it. So I think it's important, and I would love to see at least the American system put more of a heavy emphasis on geography or at least social studies, stuff like that. So yeah.
From my personal experience, I remember I was never required to take a geography class. I remember, I was reading somewhere, the United States is the only developed country where some jurisdictions don't require that you learn geography.
Yeah.
And for example, for me, I didn't get to take a geography class until my senior year of high school, and it wasn't even required. I took
Yeah.
human geography. And this has to do a lot with the 1960s when we had the whole space race with Russia, and they started to really emphasize STEM majors over geography and all that. Because geography was a big part of the American curriculum, but they really just started to de emphasize it because they really wanted to emphasize science and technology so we could compete with the Soviet Union. And they also wanted to promote patriotism, nationalism, so that we wouldn't have any people spying on us for the Soviets or things of that nature. So geography really did get put to a backseat during that time, and unfortunately, it never really regained its importance. And like you said, I mean, we live on this planet. Why shouldn't we know about it? Like we say on The Lost Geographer, it's your world, own it. You need to own where you live. If you only stay in that one room in the mansion, what's the point of having the whole damn mansion,
Right, exactly.
And so I love that. I love the way you said that. And through your videos, you make it possible for people to realize that learning geography is actually a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is. It is. There's so many, over 7 billion people on this planet. I mean, and they all come from different regions. They all come from different lifestyles and value systems. It's a whole, it literally is a whole world of information out there. So why wouldn't you want to dive into it?
Exactly. And that's also kind of what we want to emphasize as well. When you learn geography, there's just so much that you wouldn't know otherwise because you're just not exposed to it. You don't know that it exists because you're not exposed to it. And so you don't really realize that until you come across daily tidbits like, oh, did you know about this culture, how they do this differently? And then you realize, oh, that's kind of interesting. But unfortunately, we're not raised in a society that tells us to follow up with our curiosity, if you get what I'm saying.
Right, right.
And so that's why I kind of really like what you say. You present everything in a very matter-of-fact kind of way. You don't have any sort of biases. I mean, if you do, it's like out of humor, but...
Yeah. I deliberately structure the videos in a very cohesive manner so that even like a very attention deficit 7-year-old can understand it. Because that's basically me. That's basically me. I can't pay attention to anything unless if there's like shiny objects dangling in front of my face. So that's why the show incorporates a lot of motion graphics. That's why the show incorporates a lot of graphs and a lot of images and a lot of visual aids to help people understand things because in the show I talk very fast. I do. I'm trying to cram as much information as I can within like 9 to 10 minutes. And if I talk too fast, you might not catch it. So that's why I add a lot of pictures. I add a lot of visual aids for people to really cognitively grasp what is going on in that heavily condensed 9 minutes of information on a country that they may not have ever heard of. But after the show, they might have a lot more interest in it than they never knew that they could have. So, yeah.
Exactly. And so if we were to come across a skeptic, which there are plenty of them nowadays, who say, okay, it's fine. Okay, we need to know where we are on the map. That's fine and dandy and everything. But what else is there? What would you tell them?
In regards to...
Like, what benefits can you get from geography knowledge, sound geography knowledge?
Oh my gosh, it just opens up a lot of diplomacy, first of all. I mean, when you're engaging with people from other countries, it really gets... Having insight into other people and where they're from and what their home is like, that's almost like... How can I put this? It's like having an advantage in battle. It's like
right.
You know what to expect and you know how to engage with someone, whereas... And so, yeah, it almost is like speaking a different language, having to be able to converse with somebody on a cohesive form level that they understand. And when you have that, it opens up so much more. It opens so many more doors for opportunity. It opens up friendship easier. It opens up, I don't know, just opportunities in general. For example, like when I was in Bahrain, I had already made the Bahrain video and I had already studied about Bahrain and everything. So I kind of felt like I had a little bit of an advantage before I went there, whereas just going somewhere and not knowing anything about it. And it's a very great experience. It was a great experience. So, yeah. And also when you study geography, you kind of see how the world functions. You kind of see how people interact and how countries engage and why a country is like this and why certain people have this type of mentality and viewpoint in the world. You really start to kind of see the pattern of how the world works. And when that happens, you kind of know how to take your place, or at least, I don't know, how can I put this? You kind of have a better understanding of how to live your life in this world when you understand how it works.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
you understand your place in it.
Yeah. And the best way to kind of go about doing that. So, yeah.
Yeah. And so going off of what you say there, relationships are everything in life, and especially in our globalized world where you're more likely to meet someone from a different background. It really helps to kickstart that relationship if you know about where they're from.
Hmm.
Let's say it's a business partner, or let's say it's a friend or a potential romantic interest or something of that nature. If you know where they're from, about where they're from, and if you can carry on a conversation that shows that you're genuinely interested in their culture, their way of life, their country, they'll appreciate that so much because as humans, we love to talk about ourselves.
Yeah.
We love it when people take interest in us. And by understanding geography, you really do have the ability to read into other people. And like you said, it is an advantage in battle type of thing, except you don't even have to be battling.
No.
Yeah. It's a
You're
win-win
just
for both
talking.
people. Yeah, exactly. So it'll help you close that business deal better. It'll help you in negotiations. It'll help you create fulfilling relationships with people. And that's kind of what I love most about geography.
Yeah, mutual understanding opens up so much more in your life. It does, when engaging with other people. I mean, for example, when I went to Korea, if you speak English, they'll just kind of be like, whatever. But if you try to attempt to speak their language, they will love you.
Yeah.
They love it when people try to attempt their language like that. I mean, just putting in foreknowledge in your practical daily application, it opens up so much. I guarantee it. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And so, as we're wrapping up this podcast, what are your future plans for geography now?
Oh, wow. So we got to finish the entire alphabet. Right now, we are in the E countries. The next video, well, it's going to be uploaded tomorrow on Wednesday, September. What's the date today?
21st.
21st. So tomorrow, the 22nd.
Tomorrow's the 21st.
Yeah. So, oh no, sorry. Tomorrow's the 20. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow. I have a very bad. I have no knowledge of what day it is. So
Time flies when you're having fun, right?
yeah. So tomorrow the 21st, Equatorial Guinea will be uploaded, and yeah. So we got to finish the alphabet, and then after we finish the alphabet, we are gonna do. This is the tentative plan as of right now, but we're gonna do the territories or the autonomous regions or the semi-independent states. It gets confusing, but that's gonna be like the next part of geography now after we finish all the country episodes to Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is the last one.
So you're talking
So
like Kurdistan?
Kyrgyzstan or
Kurdistan.
Kurdistan. Oh, okay. Yes, that would definitely be covered, even though that's very controversial and kind of highly debated amongst
Right.
multiple states. But yeah, I would definitely cover that. That's a huge one. Or like Greenland, or even though a lot of people might hate me for doing it, maybe Tibet. So we'll see what happens. But I definitely want to cover the autonomous slash semi sovereign states as well. So that's the second part after we finish Zimbabwe.
Well, Turkey already hates you for covering Cyprus.
Oh, they've hated me since Armenia. So, nah, but they're cool. The Turkish people are cool. They know how to joke around. I love they. Yeah, we get along with everybody.
Yeah. Never been to
So,
Turkey. Heard it's beautiful.
oh, I have no doubt it is. Fun side note: it's the only place that grows black roses. Look it up. There's a
Black
place
roses.
like naturally grown black roses. That's the
Wow.
only little fun little side note that I just remembered right now. So yeah.
And see, like this is the cool stuff you know if you know geography. You just know these random cool things.
That's yeah, it really is a great conversation tool when you're at a party or when you're I don't know, just talking with random people. It really helps. It really does. It's like being able to play the piano and there's a piano conveniently located at the party. Like, I think I'll just stroll over there and show these people what I got. So yeah, that's what I would say.
But yeah, so you were going autonomous regions and then
Oh yeah. So well, that's not going to happen for a long time because I don't even know how long it's going to take until we get to Zimbabwe. But yeah, after that, yeah, autonomous regions or semi-sovereign states, disputed regions like Jammu and Kashmir
hmm
in India, Pakistan, and technically China kind of claims a little bit of it, but not really, but kind of. Definitely want to do that. Of course, more Geography Go episodes. I would love to go abroad and meet some of the international geography peeps. That's what I started doing that last year. So why not do it every year? And honestly, I don't know. We'll see what happens with the channel. I hope it gets more sponsors. I hope more people, watch it. And I mean, we've already gotten sponsored by Audible, so that's great. Just trying to build it up from there and see what happens. But so far it's been pretty good. And yeah, it's been growing. I'm surprised how fast it's been growing over the past it's only been 2 years since we launched. So
wow.
Yeah, it's been 2 years, and it's gone a long way, but we still have a long way to go. So
You're what, 6 figures in subscribers, or
right now we're
Facebook likes, or
on the YouTube channel, I think right now we're about 330 something thousand subscribers.
wow.
So not quite at 500,000 yet, but hopefully we'll get there sometime. So yeah, but it's growing, and I love it. I have so much fun doing it.
All right, guys. Yeah, if you want to check it out, just go to YouTube, type in Geography now. He's got A through, what was the last country? El Salvador, right?
Yeah. So Equatorial Guinea is coming tomorrow. So
yeah. Equatorial. By the time this podcast is out, he'll also have Equatorial Guinea out. So just as of now, he has those up there. He also has these cool videos about him researching these countries.
Oh yeah, that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah. So just, go to YouTube, type in Geography now. I mean, if you're listening to this episode on my site, I'm linking to it on the show notes, linking to the channel. Definitely check it out. But hey, Paul, thanks so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks so much, man. Yeah, it was a pleasure to be on it. So thanks for inviting me.
Everybody, hope you enjoyed that episode. And remember to stay tuned next week for some more awesome content. And remember, until then, it's your world. Own it.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Lost Geographer podcast. Remember to tune in next week for another episode to aid you on your journey towards geographic and cultural literacy. In order to help spread the word, please rate, review, subscribe, and share the podcast so that we can help create a new wave of understanding in our world. Remember, it's your world. Own it.